Alrighty, this is part 4, player perspective from position 2, mid Void Spirit. Skip past the draft. So a lot of the game here, Void Spirit ended up disconnecting or not having voice comms. So Void Spirit will disconnect twice in this game and didn't come back on voice until much later. I don't exactly remember when. So he wasn't broadcasting, and I don't think he was able to hear his teammates, and that kind of hurt some of the rotations and ganks, as you'll see later. Void Spirit would show up to a side lane trying to gank it, and the people there wouldn't recognize that until it was already happening, and at that point it was a little too late to set up. But we'll go and see how this works. Why do I not have? Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's see starting items. Stats, 2 shared tangos, branch, fairy fire. Seems all typical. Quelling Blade should give you a huge damage advantage over the Storm Spirit, so your last hit should be great with the Quelling Blade. And then the Observer Ward, which I'm sure you're going to plant out early. So this is good, using the staying behind these trees. If you plant the ward somewhere around here while you're behind these trees, Storm Spirit won't see it at all, even if he's coming up on his side, so that's good. Oh, that's right, you disconnect here first. So let's see, disconnected, disconnected, disconnected. Okay, there we go, coming back. You plant your ward, see that's good, staying behind the trees. Storm Spirit plants his on the other side, basically mirrors. Would have been nice to have a sentry ward, so at some point you're going to shove the lane, it's going to push in the tower, and then once you sort of cross the river as you're pushing in your lane here, a sentry ward somewhere in this area is able to reach most of the ward spots here, unless they put it really far out on the corner, and then sometimes you may want to guess, but with something like a Storm Spirit, where it's a relatively short range ranged attack hero, he really counts on having that uphill vision to be able to aggro the enemy hero and then pull the creeps back off. So both of these wards here across the river are really important. And if you have a sentry, really should ask for one of your lousy supports to share one like that clock. And that way you could have dominated a little bit around the 2 to 3 minute mark once you nuke the first wave. But this looks fine. Seems like you're just going to stand for the rune and then block your creep wave, which is good. Alright, nothing's happening. Waiting for a rune, you got the rune, you're going to block. Okay. Looks like a good block. A little more clicks to each side than I see a lot of people do. The most efficient blocks I tend to see are 1 click on each side. It's just a constant zigzag, whereas you're doing like several clicks to zigzag each way, but that's fine too. That's good. Drag the wave back. Deny this range creep. Okay, so you let the Storm Spirit sort of take that position and secure his range creep, but that's not a big deal. Let's see how the CSs go. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good so far. You got great damage. You're out in badly 5 to 2. It's excellent. Let that range creep die. Good secure on that melee with the magic nuke. Deny, deny. Okay, that was a miss. You could have denied that range creep there. That was a good one. It's a good spot for a harass remnant. Okay, see, so that looks like a little bit of a mistake to me. So you were up here, you have a slight creep advantage. Storm Spirit is trying to go for these last hits right here. This is when you should have used your remnant. So you have it, and you're already level 2. You've got the remnant. If you take it here and you throw it this way, you're basically almost sure to get the Storm Spirit, or he's going to miss the last hits. He ends up running away anyway and basically foregoing these. At this point, you should have just turned around and secured these creeps, because now you're trying to harass him way further out here. You have no creeps to help with the harass, so it's just one-on-one fighting, and he's going to get his creeps to show up in a second. You miss the remnant, that's bad, and now you're trying to trade with him, and 3 melee creeps hitting you in his range creeps. So now you're taking an awful lot more harass, and you missed the 2 free last hits up here. So that was a bit of a misplay. You gave that one away for free. Kid taking that. I don't know if you're trying to avoid some right clicks or what. Okay, good secure on both those. That was excellent. Took all those CS. So that was great. So you used the resonant pulse at exactly the right time, and you got all three last hits. You're up what 12-4. It's a huge advantage. You're crushing Storm on last hits in CS. You got three times as many. But this is what I was talking about earlier. So now the creep wave is pushing in, and you're going to have a little bit of time here because these creeps are going to go into the tower, start harassing him. He's going to try and last hit on our tower. This is the perfect time to throw down a sentry and try and pop his observer ward. Of course, you don't have one, but if you did, this would be the time. You'd probably throw it here somewhere, as close as you can to try and cover this wider area of spots, and I would probably lean more towards this one because this side of the river, you can see the top rune, whereas if you put it here, this doesn't quite reach far enough to see the bottom rune. So anything to check the sentry or the observer wards right here would be fantastic, because then you would take out his observer ward here, and Storm Spirit's vision would be crippled in this lane for the next probably 2 minutes at least while he tries to get a replacement set of wards out. But you're already crushed him anyway, so it's not a big deal. Okay, that's a tough one to get. Yeah, you got all three of those CS. Those are tough to deny. You should have denied that range creep though. That one was easy. The others I don't blame you for missing, but the range creep there was a freebie. Okay, we're gonna get one melee. That's fine. I wouldn't nuke that range or that melee too much. Okay, pull this one back. So I don't think there's a reason to hold this outside the tower. You got the Quelling Blade, 70 damage plus another 15. You got plenty of damage. You can kill this creep under tower. By holding this creep out here a little bit and hitting it outside of range, you're tanking a little bit of damage. You're sort of asking for the Storm Spirit, if he goes the 1-1-1 build, to get a free Vortex pull in on you and double nuke you. And by holding it right here, the creep wave is again going to reset probably further out here, because you're going to kill this creep before these guys show up. And then you're going to start tanking this one, and this is going to stop his movement here, and the creep wave is probably going to stop again at the bottom of these stairs. You really want it up on this high ground here to really screw over the Storm Spirit and make him try and last hit ranged uphill. So if you had pulled this back a little bit, let these creeps sort of get within range to aggro this guy, you'll still get the last hit probably, and then this range creep basically gets drug up the top of the stairs, and then you want the range creep to stop at the top of the stairs so that, let's see how far the other range creeps are. Okay, so they're probably about here-ish. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so you missed the last hit anyway, which is a shame. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So now you've got the creep equilibrium median at the bottom of the stairs. And I think if you had pulled it back, this creep line would be up here. And that's not that far of a difference, but just pulling the creeps up to the top of the stairs makes it much harder for the Storm Spirit to play down here at the bottom of the river, as opposed to being up here on his own high ground trying to pull back. So if you had just had the creeps just a little bit further back, that could have gone better. And to note, you had 3 times as much CS as the Storm Spirit 2 waves ago. So now you're at 15-12. You still have a nice little advantage, but you lost out your huge advantage early on. You went from 3 times as many to 30% more. So that's a huge catch up for the Storm Spirit. Okay, didn't quite secure that one. Not sure what's going on here. Gonna miss those, that's fine. You're securing the range. Okay, you let him deny that, but that was a hard one to go for. So he aggroed the creeps just a little before you did, and that's why this is gonna die faster. And yeah, I wouldn't have gone for that, but okay. This is good, if this works out. Good harass. Alright, good salve cancel, now run. Yeah, you're taking too much tower damage. So it was good that you started to harass him, and it looked like it was going really well. But once you got that salve hit, you should have ran. And I might have even ran before that and then tried to get the salve hit later. Let's see. Yeah, this is good. Looks like the tower is not hitting you yet, and now the next one's going to hit you. Um, so you probably thought you were going to get the kill here, but I would have bailed. Not the, yeah, okay, so the salve basically does no healing, which is good that you wasted it. But now you're tanking 3 tower hits, and kind of surprised he didn't manage to turn it. Oh, he fairy fired. Okay, this could have been bad. So if he had, oh, he does proc it. Okay, so that's a little Storm Spirit thing. If you throw the right click and then you proc the remnant afterwards while it's still in the air, it still hits overload when it lands. So that was a good Storm Spirit play, and you would have died there if you hadn't used your Fairy Fire. So that was a little aggressive, and I would have left earlier. And so the thing with the kill on the Storm Spirit is even if you manage to kill him, he's coming back pretty soon. So at this point, Storm Spirit is in the lane. If you just instantaneously nuked him, he would have respawned fairly quickly and then TP'd back in. If you had let the Storm Spirit walk away with, you know, a tiny little bit of life right here, then he wastes his salve, and then basically if, well, I guess you probably saw the salve and wanted to kill it. But ideally, you want to leave him at this level of health because when Storm Spirit is that low, he's got to then try and fill back up, and he's having a bad time. He did bring out the bottle, so that was 3 free charges. But all in all, that I just don't like that dive. That didn't look great. But maybe you were counting on killing him. You brought a salve, you didn't. That's probably a huge mistake here. You should have a salve in your inventory. You should straight null with the bottle. Got the bottle before him, but it ends up being not great. Okay, there's the salve. It's a little late. Looks like the backpacking of the null was a little late too. And now you're out of position for the 4-minute rune. So the rune's going to proc somewhere, and Storm Spirit's going to take it. Yeah, he's closer than you are. So yeah, you totally missed the rune, and because you're both using bottles, and you even specifically warded for this top side, that's a pretty big mistake. You got chased out of your lane. You didn't have a salve ready, and now you're at a huge disadvantage. He's got double damage, plus he just refilled all of his charges, and you're empty. So you basically have to float, and probably at the 5-minute mark. I expect you're going to go for this rune here, but this just looks really bad. You had a huge advantage over Storm early, and that one dive really cost you everything. Good last hitting though before that. That was a shame. You could have had that last hit right there. Could have had this range creep. You could have had either of those. Maybe you disconnected again. Okay, you just missed all those free last hits. I don't know why. Okay, yeah. So you did have an internet problem, but that cost you all the last hits on that wave. Let's see how long this takes. Longer pause. All right, so you're back, I think. Okay. Storm actually have an arcane, or is that a replay bug? No, he does have an arcane. Okay. Nope, it's a replay bug. Unless it doesn't show you the timer. Okay. Looks like you're going to go steal his rune instead. That's interesting. You need to put the remnant down. You know he's chasing you. Okay, good remnant pull, but it's going to be a little too slow. Yep. So that's really bad. It was that was a good thought, trying to steal his rune and then refill off that one, and then go back to refill for years later. So that was probably a neat play if it would have worked out. But the remnant pull didn't buy you quite enough time. So that's a shame. Clock is going to come in and feed here, and then I think you die after he feeds. Because Clock gives him the level 6, and that's what screws you over. So Clock got you killed here by feeding him his ultimate. That's a shame. Alright, not good. And I think you're still off voice comms at this point. Well, you're definitely still off voice comms, so there's no coordination between you and the rest of the team, unfortunately. Get a stick, that's a little late. A salve, which is good. Another observer, 2 clarities, okay. So you're going to replace the observer, figuring that you're going to be laning here a little bit longer. than the Storm probably will be. He goes off to jungle or stack. So he stacks his small camp. That's not excellent. You definitely want the ward to be offensively placed this time, so you can see him going for one of these two camps. So I want to see the observer ward here. Put it on your own side. That's not great, especially since I'm not sure, but maybe you were still in vision of the range creep. Maybe you were waiting to kill off everyone that was below. So maybe you got it without them seeing, but it's still not a great ward. You're basically just trying to watch for the runes at this point, but you're not actually watching Storm go to nuke these side camps. And Storm is going to nuke these side camps pretty quickly every time, so you really wanted the ward to be offensively placed. All right. Let's see. All right, looks like you're walking bot for what's going to be a good fight here. Remember, this works out really well for you. Your last hits have really suffered. You're now at half the last hits of Storm, but this triple kill is really going to clean up nicely. Yep, so fantastic show up on the rotation that gets you a triple kill. I don't think the rest of the team understood you were coming in there. But the Veno did pull him all the way back to the tower, and you cleaned up really well for that. TP back in, that's fine. Storm is now 2 levels up on you. It's unfortunate. You got that last hit. Okay, these are freebies. There's no way you miss any of these. Good, 3 out of 3. Storm still has more than twice your CS though, so you are a little behind. And again, Storm is nuking these side camps. So if this ward was on the other side of the river, then you would have seen Storm rotating in for these camps. You know, I don't know if it would have done much, but maybe that helps the Clockworker or somebody else show up, or even tells you, you know, which way you can go for the runes when Storm is on the other side. So that's unfortunate. Storm gets your river rune. Just kind of hanging out here a little bit. Looks like you're trying to get the entire phase boots all out in one go, which I'm not sure about that. I would have brought the boots out earlier and had the courier on its way, and then brought the chainmail and the blades of attack by themselves. But this is fine, because really you don't need the clarity in your inventory. You could backpack the clarity, and you could have had the boots out a minute ago when you first were able to afford it. Okay, 46 seconds. You need to stack your own small camp. So you got about 6 seconds here. You're gonna miss it. I'm pretty sure you're not going for it here, but this is a perfect opportunity where you can go over here and try and pull this camp out and stack that, and then give yourself, you know, another 10 creeps to nuke real quick while this creep wave is sort of fighting, and maybe Storm nukes and shoves it back in. So stack timer is right about now. You probably missed it. You're still fighting here. Storm's going to nuke your wave and then go for his own small camps. I don't think you're going for small camps at all. Interesting, he's already got a wand. Okay. Get your phase boots in the backpack. This is a mistake. You need to take these boots out of your inventory and move them up. I don't know if you just didn't realize that, or why you're not doing that. There you go. Okay, you moved it now. All right, 9:30. Probably going for a gank to secure these river roots as well. That's good. Remember, you get the cleanup on the Jakiro. That's good. Nice easy kill there. And you TP back. So I think this is a mistake. You decide to TP back to immediately go get this creep wave, and that might be a little hasty. Clockwork was standing over here defending this rune, so you could have had that one for free. And your mana's a little on the low side. You could have popped that charge, ran over here, taken this rune, maybe taken that rune, and you know, this wave is going to fight here. Storm's not even paying attention to it. He's still going for jungle camps. So you could have gotten these 2 runes, nuked this small camp on your way back, and then still shown up in time to get the range creep here. So I think that might have been a little bit more efficient, but we'll see. Over this way, pop your clarity. Yeah, you're really burning through your mana hard to nuke these waves, but you're not getting much benefit out of it. So you came back in, you pop the clarity, you use your resonant pulse to try and nuke and push this wave, which is fine, but then now you have this extra time. What are you doing with it? You're not working your small camp here. Troll is already taking these camps over here, so you basically have no purpose to nuke this wave early unless you invade for, Storm's small camp, you go back to your own small camp, but it looks like you just used up all that mana from your resonant pulse for no reason. Because now, let's see what happens. Yeah, now you're just standing here. This is silly. This is wasted time. Storm is a little more efficient than you are at the downtime. You do finally go for the small camp, that's good. But see, the mana that you used on your Resonant Pulse to nuke this wave and shove it into the tower, you could have used here instead on this camp. So now you've got to use your ultimate to try and flash farm this wave here with this camp. Which is unfortunate, because you're just keeping yourself so low on mana that, when a fight does break out, you won't really have enough oomph to show up the way you need to. Storm Spirit zips all the way up, runs out of mana, gets a kill. Looks like you're trying to clean up. And the fight's over. Okay. So that's a shame. But, the rest of their team responded, and there were 2 people behind the storm, so I don't blame you for not showing up to that, but I wouldn't have even tried to go for it in the first place, I don't think. Okay, you don't see the storm up here, so you don't go for the denies, which is a shame. You could have had 1, maybe 2 more denies in that lane. Okay. You're starting to catch up a smidge on the storm. You're not down by twice as much anymore. But still, the storm is a good ways ahead of you. Okay, gank in top. This is good. So good potential on the Jakiro. You're coming through the trees. That's excellent. He doesn't see you. Jakiro still doesn't see you because of the trees. This is a shame that Troll is jungling while the gank is going on, but we'll talk about that on his perspective. It's good, though, that you, instead of running through this open space, you came through the trees, and then you came on the other side of these trees so that Jakiro didn't have a chance to spot you. So that's good. Clock is almost dead. He's running for his life, and Jakiro gets away because Troll isn't paying attention. Alright, so that's a shame. That should have been a better gank, but I think at this point your microphone and your headset still are off, so you don't hear anything and no one hears you, so there's no coordination there. Got a clarity from your position 5, that's fine. This is a little bit of wasted time, so you ended up failing this gank over here. Troll starts going back to the camps, and you just walk all the way across here. So you didn't take this small camp, which I guess maybe you're leaving for the troll. You didn't take this camp. You didn't walk through the jungle here to take this camp. You walked through the river, potentially getting spotted because the enemy team may have wards that kind of see this area. So rather than walk through your own jungle where it would have been safer and where you could have gotten some farm, you're now walking up to then get to the same place where you're going to get over here and the creeps are already hitting your tower. So that might have been a little inefficient. Not a big deal. You still show up in time for this. Your rune spots the double damage. That's good. It's going to be the first big rune pickup for you. Alright, now it looks like you're deciding what to do with it. Storm's tower is basically untouched. Yours is almost dead. You're jungling these creeps. Okay, so that was a bit of a mistake. So in this situation, Storm is over here, ganking to kill a clockwork that was feeding like an idiot behind this tower. It would have been more efficient for you to run up here, nuke this wave, and then send your creep wave into this tower to force the storm or someone else to come back, as opposed to going straight for the small camp. So rather than running straight over here to kill that, I would have ran over here, nuked that since you are now doing well on mana, killed off all these creeps, forced this into that wave, get somebody to respond, and then go back to jungle here, because with that 30 seconds, you would have had enough time to kill these 3 little small creeps, and then you would have had a fresh set. So this feels a little inefficient, but that's just me. Okay, you got a clarity in your active inventory, and the void stone is backpacked. That's backwards. Swap the clarity in when you want to use it, but you should be getting the free mana regen from the void stone right now. That's a shame. So you shouldn't have hit that first creep, or the first hit on that range creep. You gave away a free last hit right there. It looks like there's some communication going on because you're going back and forth. You're both showing on this side, so you're not going to get the Jakiro. Troll just goes to take your small camp. Okay. This doesn't feel great. Your team is pressuring the tier 1 bottom, and they're probably trying to kill it. With your double damage rune, this would be a great time to be in this area looking for the kill with someone in that double damage rune. So that felt a little inefficient. Running through here, no idea if they've got vision on you. Clock is already dead. Yeah, so that would have been a good setup if you were there earlier with the clock. So if you had invaded at the same time as the clock, popped your double damage, and then really the axe should be paying attention as well. You, the clock, and the axe could have then taken over this area. Clock could have gotten down his wards. You could have got some vision in this jungle, and then taken this tier 1 tower and pushed it all the way to tier 2. You and the axe and really the troll, everybody's just way back here behind the clock. Clock went in for vision and to try and see who was behind, and the team was just too spread out. No one was close enough to help each other, and that was a bit of a feed from the clock. So now you guys go back to farming instead of setting up for a kill. That's not great. You have your TP. Okay, you just TP back mid. I don't mind that considering how much wasted time bottom felt like. But now you've basically given up this area. They're ganking. It's a little bit of space for you. Yep, that's good. Nuke this creep wave. Shove it into the tower. Everybody just left this tower, so you can force someone else to come back. Okay. Popping double damage, hoping for a solo kill in the Jakiro behind the tower. This is risky. We'll see if it works. That's a shame. That was a pretty big waste of your double damage, honestly. Using the double damage to try and dive the position 5 behind their tier 2 is a little unfortunate. You really want to be using the double damage while Axe is blink calling someone, because Axe had his blink a while ago. So really you want to be using that. So this is a shame. Clock pushed the storm the wrong way. You didn't get any more value out of your double damage. This fight is dead. It's good. You leaving is the right answer. Troll is dead. Clock is probably dead. You should just leave them. Maybe they'll learn their lesson next time. I wouldn't have turned back there. I would have just kept running away. So this tower is already gone. This tower at this point is going to die. The enemy team has 4 heroes. 2 of your teammates just fed. There's no reason for you to turn around and sort of challenge this Sven a little bit. You should have just ran straight past and gone back to jungling. This tower was a complete goner. You would have gotten another fortification after that tower died, so if they continued to shove to the tier 2, the tier 2 could have then one-shot the next wave coming in, and by that time, hopefully the rest of your team respawns, you could defend. But the tier 1 is gone. You need to forego trying to defend this. Looks like Axe is going to come in really late to try and do something, but really this is chain feeding. So something I've noticed on the remnants, you miss a lot of the remnants because you try and put them right on the hero. So this happened a lot in lane when you were playing against the Storm Spirit, and it looks like it's happening a lot later on as well. So you get out somehow with 30 health, which is pretty neat. You have 31 life. Axe blink calls to save you. You get out. That's good. Now when you come back, you throw the remnant, and every time you like to throw the remnant right on top of where the hero's standing. And then you're basically hoping that they don't sidestep in any direction because, 3/4 of this, radius around, or 3/4 of the, what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't fucking know. Basically, area around the remnant is safe. And so you throw the remnant where they're standing, it's facing one direction, and if they sidestep any other direction, they're okay. If you had thrown the remnant back here behind the hero, it's got a little bit of a cone where it's got a wider range to be able to hit people, and you're less likely to miss it. You did that twice on Storm Spirit lane, and you're about to do it right now. So let's see. Axe tries to cull this guy, ends up getting him anyway. The spin. Alright, so you go for the remnant on the Sven, and you throw it on the Sven, and it throws over him, or it aims over him. Whereas if you had thrown the remnant over here and aimed it up, you've got this whole area where Sven can walk through. Whereas this way, Sven can easily sidestep it and get away. So I feel like several remnants in this game are missed kill opportunities because of that. At this point, you run away, which is right. You need to get out of here so Sven doesn't one-shot you. And he ends up one-shotting the Axe instead. That's right. No, don't go back. Just keep running. Okay. Looks like you want to turn. You could get the Storm here with your Astral Step. Okay, you get the Sven instead. That's good too. So that was a good turnaround. You did stay in the area for that, and that worked out nicely. And getting that Sven kill was the most valuable thing in that fight. You had a choice between the Sven and the Storm Spirit, and either one you take is good. I probably wouldn't hang around here with this with no life with the tiny close. Just let the clockwork basically take that farming camp and head out somewhere else. You got a salve, that's good, but you can go jungle while you're waiting for your salve to get delivered. All right, 16 minutes. You're not even going to go for a river rune. You're really not getting the value out of this bottle, which is unfortunate. I don't think your team has a. I don't think your team has a. How do I get past this? Your team doesn't have a shovel, so you can't refill your bottle yourself, which is a shame. Double damage, that's good. Let's see if something happens with this. Everyone's just kind of hanging around here together, farming together. That's kind of inefficient. Axe, you and Clock should be looking for the gank. Axe call, Clock has his hook shot, and then you got the double damage. This should be ganking time. You shouldn't be farming. Axe shouldn't be laning. Like this is unfortunate. Your team has a smidge of a lead. You're still doing really poorly on the last hits. You're behind the Abaddon even, which is weird. What's your farm doing? Yeah, your farm is really suffering. You could probably turn that around with a couple good ganks with your double damage. Okay, Clock goes in, gets a kill here. This should really be your kill. You need to get the last hit on that Jakiro. So even if Clock goes in and Venom's helping, go in and steal the last hit on that because you really need the gold off of that kill to help you sort of catch up and get back into the game to the point where you can counter the Storm Spirit. Axe ends up getting a solo kill on the Storm Spirit, but that's because he played poorly and hit Axe in his blade mail. But really, this double damage is an opportunity that's missed. I get Axes elsewhere on the map, so he's too far away. You can't play with him in the blink. But if he's doing that, you should try and stick with the Clock and kind of watch for the Clock hook shots and use that to sort of propel your farm. Because otherwise you're trying to basically out-jungle the Storm Spirit. I think the Storm Spirit's going to keep out-farming you a little bit. This is fine. Nuke that wave, shove it into the tower while two people are dead. This is good. Hopefully you get that tower. That's an excellent... The angle isn't great here. The idea is really good. Put a remnant here to watch for a TP in the trees, but unfortunately you just got it looking at the tree, so it's just a bad angle. It's not going to actually proc on anybody. So if you had it like here, looking this way or looking that way, it would have been a smidge more useful. Still, you got the tier 1, so that's excellent. Someone should smoke right now. You guys should smoke and then go in for another pick-off. Okay, you see the Sven. This is good. And you guys end up stacking the disables on Cimera. So Veno starts the fight early by warning him, puts down a ward. The Plague Ward would be good if the Sven had a Blink Dagger. It would interrupt his Blink, but you really should be basically initiating with either your Yules or the Remnant. Hopefully the Yules. Yules him up, throw the Remnant, so when he comes down from the Yules, he gets hit by the Remnant, and then after the Remnant expires, Axe should be Blink calling him. But you end up stacking the disables here. Remnant, that's good. Calls on top of the Remnant, that's unfortunate. And then the fight's basically over at this point. So Veno pops the Poison. I think it hits the Storm Spirit, which is good, but the fight's over at this point. You just Astral Step right out, which is fine. You still haven't used your double damage. Okay, now you do. Thinking the fight's going to happen, and nobody goes for it. Okay. So that's unfortunate, because now your double damage is ticking away, and you're not getting any value out of it. Everyone's gone back to jungling. You should push bottom tier 2 or re-engage for a fight. Clock goes to ward. He gets spotted. You got to report that guy for feeding. That's a waste. You're still looking for something with your double damage. This is fine. Nuke that wave. A lot of people are showing up in the mid lane going after the Clock, so this is probably safe. You still have your Yules for an escape. It's an excellent item choice here. Put that Null Talisman, get that out of your backpack and put it back in your inventory here. This is just wasted. You have a nice expensive item here that's sitting dead in your inventory. This is a really long time. I've been watching this for maybe 5 seconds now, and your Null Talisman hasn't been used. I get that you want to pop the Clarity, but your Clarity's half gone at this point. Kind of wonder how long you forget about this Null Talisman. Courier snipe, that's good. You guys missed the gank, and now this fight goes well for you guys somehow, but you're wasting time. So this is kind of unfortunate. You go up here with the axe to snipe this courier, and then you walk all the way around these trees. I wonder if maybe you're looking for someone else by themselves, but the whole fight is happening down here. And if anyone from the enemy team is TPing, they're coming to this tower, or maybe this outpost if they're feeling really cheeky. They're not going to TP back to this tier 2 and then walk all the way through here. So this sort of exploration is a little bit wasted. I would have preferred that you just run straight back in with the axe. You probably could have been right about here and a little closer, but you know, the spread out thing isn't terrible. All right, someone's pinging. Sidestep the ice path, that's good. Throw out a remnant or something. That wasn't excellent, but it worked. Yules him. There you go. Yules him. Remnant. That's a good catch. So that's a better example of placing your remnant out far enough. You instead of throwing it on top of the Abaddon, you threw it way out here and angled it in. That was good, but you should have done that for some of the other fights too. That was definitely a much better remnant than before. Now you're just hanging out. Nuke this wave. Shove into the tower. Axe is looking for a blink. That's fine. You did bring the Null Talisman back in. That's good. Not sure when that happened. And it doesn't look like anything's happening, so you should get this for free. That's a really good remnant just to watch for TPs. So that's definitely a lot of value there for the team. Nuke this wave, that's fine. There's a slight risk that you get caught going for that wave, but it's not a big deal. And it took too long to take the tower, so you're not going to get the outpost experience. You should still go ahead and capture this outpost though, even though it's past 20 minutes. No reason to let them have the TP point. They're going to recapture it as soon as you leave, but you know, at least it gives you a smidge of vision while you run away. Going for Ags next. Okay. It's going to be pretty expensive. I'm not sure how long it's going to take you to get, but it does seem like the item to get against the Storm Spirit. So I don't disagree here. Everyone is jungling. That's a shame. Double damage here. Hopefully you know about that. You're going for it. Nope. Storm takes it. Looks like you were on your way over. You ran past this creep wave, so you might have realized it was there and then just didn't get a chance to take it. Now Storm has his Orchid, and he's really going to be looking to pick people off. You're just wandering and exploring at this point. Feels kind of low value. You should be killing some camps as you go. There's really not much pick-off potential. No one's showing, so you do go back to jungling. That's fine. This tier 1 should die next. You should clear this off. You see some people showing. Someone mid. There's someone bot. Go ahead and nuke this tier 1 tower. That's an easy kill. Clock gives you vision on the ward. Looks like they're TPing in some reinforcements actually, but this is still a good spot to try and force here. Okay, now the rotations have all been forced out. Now this fight's over. So once you guys see that they TP in real hard here to defend this tower, this fight's done. There's nothing that's going to come out of this unless Axe really gets cheeky and goes for a blink and somehow catches someone on the back outside of the tower hit range. But that's probably not going to happen. They're gonna defend this catapult, and then the enemy team is going to sit here and they're going to stand awkwardly and waste their time. So, excuse me. This is the perfect time for your team to go elsewhere. Looks like 2 people are split pushing bottom. So, well, I guess if you see those guys, you can commit one way or the other. Basically, you have all of your team together. You either need to commit for this and go for a 3v5 on top where you have a significant numbers advantage, or go for bot, or just spread out and farm again. But I think the team ends up just kind of waffling around here a little bit, and this is inefficient. Okay, a support calls for a smoke. You guys smoke up. This is good. So they're still split. You guys invade here on the river. They're still showing here, so you still see 2 people, the carry and the support down bottom. So you're 5v3 up here. This is probably the way to go. Hopefully Axe gets a blink call on the Storm Spirit, which is in vision, and this fight goes well. Because yeah, you should commit hard, especially now that they've pushed up into this. They probably think you all went to go back and jungle farm, and this is go time. All right, no remnant. You need to throw a remnant down. Okay, so you got the So that was an unfortunate start to that fight. Let's roll back and watch that slow motion. You didn't throw the remnant out. Everyone was just kind of walking around. That's a weird replay bug. So it's going to show me the macro prior early. Okay, that's fine. So you guys are hiding here. Clock decides to initiate. Goes for the tiny. Everyone else is walking in. Looks like he's going to push Tiny back as opposed to cogsing him in. Whatever. Axe doesn't blink call. TPs are coming in from both the enemy teams. You still haven't used your remnant. So at this point, you could have thrown the remnant down. You see the TPs here. If you throw the remnant this way, you can basically disable these guys as soon as they show up. Or you can throw the remnant here and cut off one of these two guys that are coming in from the top. Or throw the remnant to get the tiny. But basically, you're holding the remnant. I'm not sure why. When it's a pretty important disable at the beginning of the fight. 13-second cooldown, so you're really going to want to throw it early so that you have a chance to throw a second one. Maybe you're using it as like an escape for yourself, but you have your Yules. So use the remnant offensively here. Axe should have blinked in and called somebody. Troll is probably going to go for a defusal, try to kill. Hopefully not the Abaddon. He should be looking for the storm, but the storm is unfortunately hiding in the trees here. Benno's too far back. He's not going to be able to get a good poison nova, it looks like. So this fight is already starting to go really poorly. You want to astral step through several people and then Yules one and remnant the other to help basically give your team all the disables you can, so that when the fight starts, this set of spells might come off cooldown halfway through the 20-second fight. All right, so you get tossed. That's unfortunate. Okay, taunt him, and you both get double stunned by the ice path. That's a really unfortunate ice path for you. You get screwed there. Still holding on to the remnant. You run away from the axe. That's fine. Okay, so you're going to try and get the storm. That's a misplay there. So you tried to astral step through the storm spirit before he was disabled in any way. So you astral stepped through, and storm spirit ball lightninged over your astral step. So that's unfortunate. I would have opened with the Yules there. I understand the idea of trying to astral step once, Yules, and then astral step the other way, but the Storm's player's a little too good for that. So let's see. Don't throw the remnant. Where's your remnant? Okay, there it is. So you do have the remnant to hit. Axe is here. He calls. Where's the call? There you go. Good call. Astral step. And then the kill. Okay, so that worked out. It's just unfortunate that the Storm got away from the first astral step. And you might have even been able to save one. And now you don't have an astral step charge when you might have been able to save it by using the Yules first. But that's not a big deal. Not sure if you're going to get away here. Let's see. Good read on Tiny going high side to block you, cut you off, but now you're still in a bad position. And yeah, this just isn't going to go well. But this is just cleanup at this point. Heals out. Looks like he's going to get the Tiny. Maybe try help with the Tiny if you get close. Okay, he got it himself. That's good. You got a Remnant coming up. Oh, you're silenced. That's bad. You're out of stick charges. Now you have a Remnant. Okay, let's see it. Throw the Remnant. Oh, okay, so you ran away, and I get that. You were worried that you were going to die, but a Remnant there would have been really good to help the Axe and secure these two kills. But I understand you trying to just get away and survive. He misses that, which is good. Clock misses that. Abaddon is going to survive, which is unfortunate. This is the real high-value kill. If you had put the Remnant on that Abaddon, that would have been a kill. Looks like you're going to clean up this. Try and last hit that Jakiro. Okay, you did. That's good. And now you're solo. Yeah, now I don't understand what the point of this push is. So now all 3-4 of you are going to push tier 1 again, and the enemy team is all going to respawn. This isn't good. This is inefficient. You have no life. Everybody else is low on the low side, and they're going to be ready for this defense. I don't like this push. This feels bad. A lot of clarities, so everyone thinks the fight's not happening anytime soon. Nuke that wave. You're all showing in the tower. There's no reason for you to stand there. Your mana is coming up pretty fast. You need to nuke that. This creep wave should be dead by now. You took way too long to kill this, and now the enemy team is going to respond. This wave should have died 5-10 seconds ago and should already be hitting the tower. So now the creeps basically got no tower damage. Jack is going to nuke all of them, and that was wasted time. Not really sure what's going on here. Everyone's just hanging out. Very inefficient. Tiny misses the toss back, that's good, but you could use a remnant there to screw him over. So when Tiny goes in for that toss back, you got to screw him over by throwing a remnant to basically hold him in place. Because if the Tiny was held in place up here, that could have been a free kill on the Tiny with Clockwork going in to disable someone on the back line, split the fight in half. That would have been a good setup. But you held the remnant, and Tiny was able to basically run up, toss someone, avalanche, miss the toss back combo, and then walk home. So that was a shame. Your bottle's empty, so go ahead and swap the point booster in, unless maybe you're thinking you're going to get this rune right here in time. But otherwise, you have a no stat item here, and some big stat items there being wasted. Yeah, you're not even going to contest the 25-minute runes here, so you need to swap out your bottle, or even your salve, or both. Swap the bottle and the salve out for these two components. Because you're pretty full in health. You're probably not going to need the salve as you start to go jungle here, and your bottle charge isn't going to be refilled unless you decide to run all the way out for this rune on this side. So this is a little bit inefficient stat-wise. But otherwise, splitting up the farm, this is probably the right play here. Nothing else is going on. You're standing there, not sure what's going on here. You're just standing around, watching other people take your farm. That's unfortunate that the Veno and the Axe are in the jungle here taking these camps. That should really be going to Troll or you. Maybe something to discuss with the team. There's no reason for the Axe to farm that camp. That's your camp. Axe is now ahead of you in levels, too. And Troll. Axe is ahead of both the position 1, position 2. That's unfortunate. Axe has taken too many of these jungle camps. He needs to be more aggressive, pushing the lanes, taking the dangerous farm out here that's pushing towards towers, and you should be taking the free jungle camps with Troll. Axe should not, like, he's going to go for this small camp, I'm sure. That's a screw up if he takes that. Okay, yeah, this is not Axe's camp to take. You need to be asserting your dominance and taking that camp from him. And if he fights you for the camp and right clicks it with you, then you need to get on voice and tell him to fuck off and play like a P3. Alright, so everyone's just hanging out, really inefficient. This is a complete waste of time. I don't know what everyone's doing, but this is silly. You need to go for a smoke gank, or just a regular gank. It's nighttime, Axe's blink, you have a Clockwork, go for a gank, push in right now. You should be going for whoever this guy is right here. Okay, there's a Jakiro, you see him, good. Finally a kill on him. That's good. It's a shame that Axe felt the need to take the Culling Blade there, last hit, but whatever. Okay, so I guess you were trying to Yule's the Sven up to disable him, and you just Yule's yourself, and at this point the fight is lost. So hopefully you turn around and leave, realizing that Sven sees the Axe chasing him, and rather than continue to run for his tower, Sven turns around. He's now ready to fight, so something's wrong. The Sven is now eager to turn around and engage the Axe. So probably the rest of the team is hiding in the trees, ready to respond, and you guys are screwed. Clock is out here warding. You've just wasted your Yules. This fight is over. You still have your no-stat items in your inventory, and this is wasted space. So you need to turn around and leave right now. Let's see what happens. Nope, you go in anyway. You give him the Remnant to help, that's fine, but you get nuked. Alright, you get out, and that's good. Yeah, you need to leave. This is done. Let Clock and Axe die. Maybe Veno dies. Veno misses everyone. Yeah, you need to just leave. That fight's over. That was the right move to turn around and leave there. You probably could have left earlier, honestly, but leaving when you did is good too. That's the right move. Nuke that wave to slow down the push. It's unfortunate that Tiny was able to catch up to you there. And yeah, this is bad. You don't need to run all the way home now. You can probably go for a jungle camp or throw some remnants on the side to keep vision. You don't need to run to your high ground. That might be a little bit much. Yeah, throw the remnant out for vision. Let Veno build up some wards. You're just going all the way home for some mana. Okay, grab some of these mangoes. You're a very mana heavy hero. This mango tree's been here for forever. You should have like a stack of 3 mangoes right here in your thing. Okay, there you go. Now you grab them. That's good, because that little stack of mangoes right there will basically bring you all the way back up to full when you get into the middle of another fight. Alright, bottles refilled. You do move the staff into your inventory, that's good. Now nothing's happening. You guys need to reclaim some of your jungle. This is a little iffy. Good to take this camp. Clockwork comes in to steal that last hit. He's an asshole. Report him. What is Clock trying to buy? Pipe, I think. Alright, you're like 75 gold from your ags. That's really good. Nuke this ancient stack. You can get that. Oh, you want the regenerate? Okay, that's fine too. But now go back and clear up some of these camps. You're 50 gold away. You're so close to the ags. Finish it up right now before the next fight. Okay, looks like someone's calling for a new fight, so you're going to start this one without your ags. That's really unfortunate that you were so close to the ags. Alright, Clock gets the wrong people. You go in. Remnant, you're standing there for a second. That was really weird. Let's watch this in slow motion. That was kind of odd. You jumped in and you stood there. Alright, so Clock is going to start this fight early, whether you want to or not. You're running in. You don't have your ags completed. I think, okay, he's got his Crimson Guard done. So this is going to be a weird fight. Troll is still 7 seconds away from respawning. So ideally, you don't want to start this fight yet. You don't have a glyph, so that's unfortunate. Axe has vision of the storm once Clock wards this tower. So I think Axe probably thinks he can solo kill the storm. He did it once before earlier, so he's probably pretty confident that he can do it now, but it's not going to work out. Clock needs to go in and disable the Sven on the side here while everything else is happening. So this is a lot of misplays from your teammates. Let's see what you do. Tiny is there. Okay, so you jump in and you get tossed, which is unfortunate. You get tossed up to your teammates, so that's interesting. The Tiny actually tried to take these guys and toss them to the Sven, and because you jumped in early, you tanked that, which actually worked out well for the team, but now you're in a bad position. And I think you just stand here for a second. So you dissimulate, and now you're standing here. And this is the part that confused me. I'm not sure what's going on. Clock is dead. Axe is dead. Venno should get an ult here. You've got no remnant. You got the Yules. Yules this Tiny right here afterwards to keep him from nuking someone again. Oh, he's low mana. That's not a big deal. So you can right-click the Tiny. Axe is dead. You're going to have an Aether Remnant in a couple seconds. That's important. Who do you use that on? You're kind of standing in the back here. So this whole fight, when you came up here, you've been kind of hanging out in this back area, and I don't think you've right-clicked or done much to anybody. I don't know if maybe you're scared that the Abaddon's going to silence you or the Storm Spirit's going to hit you, but I think you're just kind of standing around waiting for your cooldowns. That might be a bit of a mistake, efficiency-wise. At least go hit this Tiny, because the Tiny is not as much of a threat. You should be right-clicking him while you're waiting for your cooldowns. Alright, so now you got your cooldowns all off. Let's see what happens. You get crushed by the Tiny nuke. Your team is all dead. And you're just running away at this point. Okay, so you basically spent that fight kind of standing on the outside waiting for your cooldowns to come up, when I think you probably could have solo killed the Tiny while everybody else was fighting over here, because the Tiny spent most of his fight in this area. Now you're getting chased by the Sven. You got an Astral Step. You should get away here. Yeah, Yules plus Astral Step should be an escape. I'm not sure why you're holding. Okay, so that could have been bad if the Storm Spirit caught you there, but you did end up using the Astral Step eventually, and now Storm Spirit's going to catch you again. Okay, good use of the Resonant Pulse to block a little bit of damage and dissimulate. No, too late. Okay, so that was a good try. You did hold the Astral Step a little longer than I thought you would, and you used the Yules to basically disable the Sven instead of the Storm, but it worked out. It was just unfortunate that you were too low. I think you die there either way. Alright, and I think the game is over at this point, right? Let's see what happens. Yeah, the game is over. Alright, this is done.